What is it? It's gross profit. There is only one number that you really need to know about in your business when it comes to finances. I'm a small business owner. I own a plant-based ice cream store. Like you, business finances are something I don't want to have to look at every day. It feels sometimes so complicated. So I sat down and asked myself, what is just the one thing I can look at on a daily, weekly basis? How is my business doing and is it profitable? And that all came down to gross profit. So what is gross profit? Gross profit is basically how much you make when you sell a physical product or service. For example, here at my ice cream store, if I sell an ice cream for $1 and it cost me 30 cents to make, I've made 70 cents. That is my gross profit. Why is gross profit so important for you to understand above everything else? Well, it's because gross profit is the thing that trickles down and affects everything else in your business. If you don't get gross profit right, your business won't be profitable. You won't be able to cover expenses. You won't be able to cover payroll. This is the part of the video where I ask you to like and subscribe. Hope you enjoy the rest of the episode. Cheers. Gross profit is essentially a truth serum for your business. It will tell you straight away if your business is working, if it's not working, if it's hemorrhaging, and even if it's going to be workable in the long run. Why? Well, you need to think of gross profit as the fountain. Imagine a mountain that is top of the hill full of rain and water. Gross profit is the thing that trickles down the mountain. By the time it gets to the bottom, you need to have a big enough water supply to fill your bucket. That's what gross profit is. If you don't have enough water, your business won't survive. You won't have the money to pay rent, labor, costs, expenses, electricity, all that other stuff. And most importantly, you won't have any money left for you. And often it's the one thing that you can improve and change daily. You can change your prices instantly. You can't change your rent monthly. You can't often change your electricity prices. Labor is often fixed. The only way to change that is to reduce staff. These are not immediate impacts, but gross profit you can do that with. And that's what makes it such a magical number. That leads to the question, what is actually a good gross profit? Technically, if anything around a 50% gross margin, you're not doing good. Your business won't survive. 70 or above, your business is doing okay. You've got a fairly healthy gross profit margin. You can grow it from there. A rule of thumb for most businesses is 70%. If you have a 70% gross profit margin, you're doing pretty good. It can tell you if your pricing is correct, if you're spending too much to make your product, if you're going to become profitable. So let's put that into context. Sometimes a lot of businesses will look at their menus and think, hey, I'm not making enough money. I need to sell more. But selling more won't solve your problems if your gross profit margin isn't right. You could technically still be making a loss on items or not enough to cover your expenses, even though you're selling more. In my ice cream business, when we first started, I came in as a very cost-conscious consumer when I did my pricing. And I priced our ice cream way too low for what we did. And for years I thought, hey, I just need to sell more ice cream. The reality was I needed to increase my pricing. And that's okay when you're making a quality, good product and you can justify that. Sometimes as founders, it's easy to be super cost conscious and underpriced because you're worried about what people think. You've got to lose that cost consciousness and you need to price your product or service at the highest point possible before people start to complain and grumble. That's your job. That is where you get the most gross profit from. So that's the first place. Increase your pricing. That will solve a lot of your gross profit margins. The other end is decrease your cost of making stuff. Maybe you're making too many items. Maybe you're buying too many ingredients. Pistachio ice cream, I absolutely love it. And the way we make it at the store is by using pure pistachios. But the reality is pistachios cost a lot of money and that will jack up the price of our ice cream to a point where it's just not sustainable for us to sell. We would be losing money on every scoop of ice cream. And for those reasons, we had to stop making a pistachio ice cream until pistachios come down in price. That was a decision we made based off our gross profit alone. So how do you even calculate gross profit? Simple. You work out how much you sell something for to how much it costs you to make. In accounting terms, that's called the cost of goods sold, but it's super simple. Work out how much it costs you to make a scoop of ice cream versus how much you sell it for. But you need to go out and work out what is your average cost of goods sold on a weekly basis. And if I didn't sit down and took the time to understand gross profit and how it impacted our business, I don't think that my ice cream store would still be here today. If you want to fix it, all you have to do is set one day a week where you go through and you work out and you look at your gross profit. It doesn't have to be complicated. Look at what you're spending, look how much you're making that week and do a simple comparison. See where that is and test it each week. Build a spreadsheet and compare it. It will give you a good idea what it is. When you're in the trenches running your business, you just want to focus on the one thing to give you clarity. And for me, that's gross profit. Big love.